There's going to the well and there's going to the well and just never, ever giving in, but never stop trying to win the fight. Not trying to survive, trying to win the fight.
I believe, yeah, I want the revenge, man. I want my revenge.
I watched the fight back. I personally had me up a point. I wouldn't have moaned a point either way. 4 points a bit wide in my opinion.
Following his defeat, Conor Benn criticized both Chris Eubank Jr. and the judges, claiming the scorecards were biased and the result unfair. Criticizing the scorecards, Eddie Hearn also weighed in, stating that in his view, Conor Benn was clearly winning the first 3 rounds. He suggested the fight was closer to a draw and expressed confusion over the 116 to 112 scorecards, saying they didn't make much sense to him.
Honestly, I liked our position through the fight. I thought we won maybe even the first 3 rounds. For one, I think it was a close round, and then we had a good spell. I can't even remember now. I think like 9, 10. Gave a few of the mid rounds up. Was it 8? No, I don't know. But I thought, to be honest with you, and this is honest, I think it's a draw, but I don't think we're going to get it. I just didn't expect 116, 112 3 times.
Criticizing the way the fight was scored, Eddie Hearn expressed his dissatisfaction with the judges' scorecards. However, he admitted he has no real complaints, as he was more focused on the pride he felt watching Conor Benn's outstanding performance. Hearn emphasized that regardless of the result, Benn has solidified his status as a true superstar with this showing.
I can't see how you can score that fight 8-4, but listen, no complaints either way, other than I just am mesmerised by that kid in there. Yeah. Mesmerised. To go in there after all that time out the ring, after everything that he's been through, in that kind of occasion, and deliver that performance with that set of bollocks, I actually can't believe it. And tonight, he has become a superstar.
Sharing a similar opinion, Derek Chisora stated that the fight should have been scored a draw. He acknowledged that the bout lived up to expectations, but insisted that neither fighter deserved to walk away with a loss, as it was too evenly contested.
Well, I believe it's a draw. Both fighters, nobody needs to lose today. It's a fucking draw.
Meanwhile, with the unanimous decision going in favor of Chris Eubank Jr., Derek Chisora joked that Eddie Hearn had lost all his money and would now have to pay his fighter back. He also voiced his disagreement with the scorecards, firmly believing that a rematch is inevitable to truly settle the score.
Eddie lost money. Eddie should be paying up right now. Where's Eddie?
That deserves a rematch either, because Conor put up a great fight.
There'll be a rematch.
Frank Warren also shared his thoughts, stating that the fight was evenly matched, but he felt Conor Benn had the edge throughout. While many saw the first 5 rounds going clearly to Benn, Warren pointed out that Conor was still pushing forward and landing well into the 10th round. At the same time, he addressed the factors that may have contributed to Benn's loss, specifically highlighting the weight-drained condition of Chris Eubank Jr. and Benn's disadvantage in size. Sharing his thoughts on the fight, Adam Smith noted that many of the rounds were extremely close. He stated that, in his view, Conor Benn clearly won the first 3 rounds. Smith went on to break down how momentum began to shift as Chris Eubank Jr. appeared to find his rhythm, even showing signs of vulnerability at times. He described the bout as one he simply couldn't take his eyes off, an intense edge-of-your-seat contest from start to finish.
One of those fights you couldn't take your eyes off. Rounds were close. I thought Conor at one point was going to win it. I turned around to Declan Rice. He's a big Conor Benn fan, and I said, I think Conor's going to win this.
A stoppage or points at that point?
I thought he was going to stop him. I thought he had him shaken a little bit in the 3rd round, and I thought he was going to stop him in about 7, 8 rounds. I just had a feeling. And then the longer it went on, the more Eubank came back, and I was really impressed with Chris. I thought he was really good.
Adam Smith went on to praise Chris Eubank Jr. for showing the resilience to absorb Conor Benn's heavy punches during the first 3 rounds. He also remarked that the scorecard seemed somewhat unfair, particularly in the opening 4 rounds. Smith concluded by saying that this fight truly elevated the sport of boxing to another level, showcasing the intensity and skill that define top-tier combat sports.
Powering forward behind the jab, he looked up at the clock a couple of times, he read rounds well, he finished them strongly, he dealt with a cut well. I was really impressed with Chris actually in the last 2 or 3 rounds. He was really backing Conor up, and I think that's where he won it. So yeah, Eubank for me maybe not by the 4 rounds each on the cards, but I think the right guy won. And I just spoke to Conor and I said, look, there's no losers in this fight. It was a phenomenal exhibition of what gladiatorial combat can do, and the respect that we have for them has just gone up tenfold. And let's see a rematch. It's got to happen.
On the other hand, Conor Benn hasn't forgotten the unfinished business with Chris Eubank Jr. As talks of a rematch continue, he remains confident about settling the score. Benn reflected on how close the fight was and strongly criticized the judges, calling their decision completely unfair and biased. Despite the setback, he's determined to seek revenge and set the record straight in a potential rematch.
I believe, yeah, I want the revenge, man. I want my revenge. I think inactivity played a big part. It's quite hard because obviously the past 2.5 years, what had gone on, not fighting back here to then coming home to this, it took me back. It did take me back. In a good way and in a bad way, when I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh.
Meanwhile, Eddie Hearn was full of praise for Conor Benn, stating that he has truly established himself as one of the best by showcasing his dominance in the ring. Hearn emphasized that regardless of the official result, the world witnessed Benn deliver an incredible performance, and in his eyes, Conor Benn has become the people's champion.
But I want to talk about the performance, the heart, the mentality, and the never say die spirit from Conor Benn tonight, because I can't believe what I witnessed. There's going to the well and there's going to the well and just never ever giving in, but never stop trying to win the fight. Not trying to survive, trying to win the fight. And obviously there's a lot of people in this room, we know what he's been through. You know, opinions are opinions, and for me tonight, Conor Benn become the people's champion, because this kid is a great kid.
At the same time, Conor Benn didn't hesitate to voice his stance on what he called unfair and biased scorecards. After rewatching the fight, he pointed out several moments he believed should have scored in his favor, claiming he was 4 points ahead.
Yes, people, attack the week. May the days count. School's never out. In the gym working, learning, staying in shape, staying ready. I watched the fight back. I personally had me up a point. I wouldn't mind a point either way. 4 points a bit wide in my opinion, but we keep it moving. Ain't gonna cry over no spilt milk. Just gotta do better. Just gotta do better. Work harder. If that's possible, work smarter.
Conor Benn also took a lighthearted jab at Chris Eubank Jr., reminding him that he's coming for revenge. As he kicks off his training camp, Benn reflected on the aftermath of the fight, emphasizing that he hasn't wasted time crying over the drama. Instead, he's focused on the rematch, determined to settle the score once and for all.
Do the best I can. We gotta keep it moving. We're just getting started. Just getting started, baby. Come on. Tatooine, let's go.
Amid all this, Michael Buffer also weighed in, acknowledging that Conor Benn has proven himself to be a formidable fighter and a true force to be reckoned with in the welterweight division. He praised the bout for its intensity and entertainment value, and suggested that Benn should now set his sights on a showdown with Jaron Boots Ennis at 147 pounds.
I thought it was very exciting. Conor Benn definitely in the welterweight division is going to be a force to reckon with. I'd love to see him fight Boots. It'd be a great welterweight fight, or maybe Teofimo move up to 47, which is, obviously his natural weight for Conor and Chris Eubank. The future's bright for both guys. It was such a great fight.
Furthermore, Michael Buffer expressed his disagreement with the scorecards, noting that the first 3 to 5 rounds were clearly in Conor Benn's favor. While he admitted he wasn't the one officially scoring the fight, he felt that what he witnessed didn't reflect a fair outcome. Buffer also highlighted the significant size difference between the two fighters and praised Benn for fighting like a true champion despite the disadvantage.
I could see it being scored that way. I might have had it closer. I didn't write my scores down. Very good first 4 or 5 rounds for Conor, and then size does make a difference, as they say. You could see that happening, especially the last 2-3 rounds.
Sharing his thoughts, Joe Cordina acknowledged that the fight was undoubtedly a close one. He said he was leaning toward Conor Benn for the first 6 rounds, while Chris Eubank Jr.'s performance was inconsistent after that. Cordina criticized the scorecards as being unfair and added that a draw would have made much more sense given how the fight played out.
First off, I don't think it was as wide as that. It's definitely not. Early on, first 6 rounds I had Conor. First 7 rounds I had Conor up. And then after that, I was saying to my wife, I said, Chris is pulling back now, and then he's going like 1 round up, 1 round down, and it's level. And then it was the last 2 rounds. It was quite hard to score because they were both giving it 100% and giving everything they had. They weren't leaving no stone unturned in there. And and unfortunately, it didn't go Conor's way, but I definitely didn't have it that wide. If it was a draw, that would have probably been right for me.
Explaining his stance, Joe Cordina stated that the fight was a draw in his eyes, and had the decision gone that way, he would have had no objections. With the rematch now announced, he expressed confidence that Conor Benn will come back determined to set things right.
No, but if it was the other way, you couldn't have argued either, because it was a good battle back and forth all the way through. So yeah, I'm just gutted, but there's a rematch, and Conor gets a chance to put it right.
So viewers, that is all for today here at Ring Rivalry. The stage is set, the controversy is alive, and the rematch is on the horizon. From disputed scorecards to fight of the year level action, Conor Benn versus Chris Eubank Jr. has reignited boxing's fiercest rivalry. Will Benn get his revenge? Will Eubank silence the critics? One thing's for sure, the next round is going to be explosive. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss a single update on this epic saga. See you in the next video. Until then, stay tuned.